to have two sisters at once, at one time in your marriage. You can't marry the sister of your wife. You can't join them together at one time. And here also please note that the Prophet ﷺ has added to this list. You can't have two sisters in marriage at one time. You can't have one woman and the paternal aunt or the maternal aunt of that woman at one time as wives. So the Qur'an says only sisters, but the Prophet added the wife and the paternal aunt. They can't be added together in one marriage. One woman and the maternal aunt, they can't be taken together by one person in marriage. Illa ma qad salaf. Except what has already passed, what has been done in the past, well, that is to be condoned. Inna Allah kana ghafuran rahima. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving and merciful. Wal muhsanatu minan nisa. And also those women who are married to other people, muhsanat. Now please understand this word, hisn. Hisn means a fort. Hisn. Muhsan is one who is fortified, protected within the walls of a fort. Muhsan. Muhsana is a woman who is in the protection of a husband already, who is in the fort. That marriage, bond of marriage is like a fort for her. And that is a protection for her. The husband is to protect her chastity. So that is the muhsanat. So women who are already married to other people, who are in the fort of nikah already, they are also haram for you. You can't marry them. So that is another list, the thing added to that list. Illa ma malakat aymanukum. But there is an exception to this. If a non-Muslim woman, she came to you as a captive, as a slave girl, although she has a husband, back home, but now her status has changed. She is a captive. She is a slave girl. Now you can marry her. So this is an exception. Although she is married, but the husband is back home. He is not here. And she has been captured in war, in battle by the Muslims. So already, even if she has been married to some person, she can be taken in marriage by a Muslim. Kitabullahi alaykum. This is the ordinance of Allah upon you. These relations, these, don'ts. Don't marry this, don't marry this, don't marry this. These are muharramat abadiyah. You can never marry your own daughter. You can never marry your own sister. You can never marry your own mother. You can never marry the daughters of your brothers or sisters, and so on and so on. وَأُحِلَّ لَكُمْ مَا وَرَاءَ ذَلِكُمْ أَن تَبْتَغُوا بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ. And the rest of all women, they are permissible for you. They are allowed for you. They are halal for you. That you take them into marriage, and تَبْتَغُوا بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ, through your wealth. You pay them the dowry, the mahr, muhsineen ghayra musafihin. But the intention should be to bring her into the fort of nikah. Muhsineen ghayra musafihin. It should be in wedlock and not in license or fornication. Not only, you to satisfy your sexual urge. No. This is going to be a sacred relationship, a lifelong relationship of a husband and a wife. That is the way that you can have a woman in marriage. Not, a timely pleasure. Just, a sensual gratification at a time. That is not permissible. That is haram. That is fornication. So, مُحْسِنِينَ غَيْرَ مُسَافِعِينَ فَمَسْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ فَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ فَرِيضَةً. Now, when you have benefited from them, you have taken the sexual pleasure from them, you must pay them their mahr, their dowry. You must pay them. وَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي مَا تَرَاضَيْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الْفَرِيضَةِ. But if after fixing the amount of the dowry, if by mutual agreement you decide something else, maybe you say, I will give more. Maybe she says, well, I can accept less. I leave some part of it for you. فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ. So there is no blame on you. Inna Allah kana aliman hakima. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing, all wise. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ مِنَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. As for those of you who don't have the capacity, cannot afford to marry free, believing women, free woman, believing woman, mu'minat, muhsanat. If you can't marry them, because you have to pay the dowry, you are poor, you don't have anything. You might have seen in Saudi Arabia, people, they ask for charity because I have to pay the dowry. I want to get married, I don't have the money with me, so please help me so that I can have that amount with which I can go and marry. So that is also something, for which people are begging in that country. So one lam yastati' minkum tawlan. Whosoever amongst you can't afford, doesn't have the money, so that he can marry a yankihil muhsanatil mu'minat, free believing women. فَمِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. So as a concession, you are allowed to marry the slave girls. مِنْ فَتَيَاتِكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. But only the slaving girls who have become mu'mins, who have accepted and embraced Islam. If a slave girl comes to you as a captive, she remains a mushrik or kafir, you can't marry her. Marriage will not be able, but will not be permissible, but you can have relationship with her as a captive, but it will not be a marriage. She will not get the status of a wife. The status of a wife will be attainable only by a Muslim woman. Although she was a captive, she came as a slave girl, but she has embraced Islam. She is still a captive girl, but you can marry her. Wallahu a'lamu bi imanikum. Allah knows very well about your iman, whether you have iman or not, whether she has iman or not. So what is to be decided is on the basis of Islam, not iman. Whether she is a Muslim or not, whether you are a Muslim or not. All the legal matters are based on Islam, not on iman, because iman is something hidden in your hearts. Wallahu a'lamu bi imanikum. Only Allah knows about iman, whether you have iman or not, whether I have iman or not. But I am a Muslim, you accept me as a Muslim, you are a Muslim, I accept you as a Muslim. Ba'dukum min ba'd, and you are from each other. After all, even if she is a slave girl, she is a human being. She is from the progeny of Adam and Eve. Ba'dukum min ba'd. So this is only a level, in this society for arrangement, for management. But all human beings are equal. Ba'dukum min ba'd. فَانْكِحُوهُنَّ بِإِذْنِ أَهْلِهِنَّ. So you can marry them, the slave girls, but with the permission of their masters. Maybe the slave girl belongs to me, and somebody